Did say I wasn't going to hold back. You can clearly tell this video is not sponsored. I'm ranking all of the most profitable poker sites in 2024, and I'm not holding back. The metrics that we're using are traffic and game variety for any of you crushers out there that are looking to play 9+ tables. Anyone can play 9+ tables, but whether you play them profitably or not is dictated by the profitability of each site. Then we've got payout speed. How easy is it to actually get access to our money, which is a way bigger problem than most people give credit for. Softness of players speaks for itself, and rate back a little bonus. And overall, we're going to give a profitability rating and rank all the sites that are out there that exist, that I play on almost every day, certainly every day that I'm playing as a pro. By the way, if you don't know, I'm Dan, pro poker player and coach, and all of the sites on this list I've tried and tested, and I'm still testing in the last 7 years since I've been a pro. Firstly, we have Pokerstars. In traffic and game variety, it has improved a lot. Pretty good, pretty high. You can play anything from PKOs. They're offering more mystery bounties, which are one of the most profitable formats of poker to play, and plenty of vanilla tournaments, which is massively important. That, in my opinion, is where the majority of everyone's profit is going to come from, playing those well. And if you want to play those well, check the link in my bio. Payout speed is really, really good. Big check, big check. Payout speed is the fastest on Pokerstars. You're almost immediately getting your money out. This is the area where Pokerstars in recent years have improved the most. Immediate payouts, which is what all of the sites across poker should aim for. We should demand that as a poker community as well. It's only fair. If players can deposit money so easily, we absolutely should be able to withdraw at the same speed. Make it a fair playing field. Softness of players has definitely increased, so there are more soft players over time. Pretty good, but I would give this a 3 out of 5 rating if I had to rate all of these individually. And rate back has also significantly improved on Stars, which is why, even at the surprise to myself, after recent years, Stars has really struggled, but now it's turning itself around, and I would give it an A rating. Definitely a really good option. It's going to be the staple of most good players' schedules. It's not necessarily a site to base everything around, but still way stronger. Pokerstars are improving. They can still do a lot better, but pretty good. Next, love it or hate it, we come on to GG. Personally, I hate it because traffic and game variety, there is a ton of options, but because the traffic is so high, the only games that you can play are really high average field sizes. Personally, I specialize in 200 man, 500 man, 1000 man. I can play high field sizes, of course, but you can't find many smaller tournaments which are going to make a lot of people a lot of money once they know how to do that. Way more than higher field sizes, because most importantly, you get into the final table where all the money is as quickly as possible. GG looks like it has a lot of game variety, and it has tables that can fill up your screen if you're playing 9+ tables, but the difference between Pokerstars is that it's very difficult on GG to find a lower average field size tournament. Pokerstars really does have a variety, so here, GG doesn't really score particularly well. Payout speed has also decreased because it's, as far as I know in the UK, stopped paying out in Bitcoin. Not great, so this has kind of fallen. Softness of players is relatively low. There's a lot of Brazilians. Of course we can beat Brazilians. They're clearly suboptimal, but they're less suboptimal than the rest of the population. Slightly more difficult to beat, so not a great score. Rakeback, however, is very good. Enough for a lot of people out there, plenty of people that I know, to literally make a living off rakeback only, rakeback pros. So that gives GG an overall rating of a C. For me, definitely not worth basing your whole poker session around GG. That's just my take. There's plenty of profitable people out there. However, be careful because GG now is not searchable on SharkScope, and you can only see revenues. So guys are looking like they're making a ton of money, but a lot of them are actually break even or lower. So winnings on GG are often a red herring. Next, we come on to 888. Traffic and game variety remains good. There's plenty of different tournaments, vanillas, PKOs, mystery bounties, all that kind of stuff. Payout speed. No, God, please, no, no! This is where there's a huge problem with 888, and it affects so many players all over the world. It's very common for them to freeze accounts, for them to stop players being able to withdraw, and for them to be almost a faceless man. You can't contact anybody to resolve issues. Very, very bad here, and to be honest, that is enough to send the rating of 888 down, no matter the rest of the ratings on the rest of this list. Softness of players is actually decreasing as well, in that there are stronger players on average playing the tournaments, a huge influx of Brazilians, and a lot of the loyal customers that 888 had are just leaving because it's treating its customers so poorly, not paying out quickly or fairly at all. And rakeback is non-existent. Imagine trying to be a rakeback pro on 888, spinning this bullshit wheel that gives you 10 cents every day. You'd be homeless in absolutely no time. I don't know a single person, by the way, on that wheel that has ever got 1K cash. Ever. Of all the pros, recreationals out there that I know on 888, not one person. So if you do know, please comment in the comment section. I'll just try not to pass out if I ever get proof. It's a real shame, but 888 gets an overall rating of a D, not quite an E. To be honest, 2 years ago, 888 was my favorite site. Since, it has just declined pretty significantly. It all starts here. Treat the customers and the community in poker well. Give back. Let them at least withdraw and solve problems on there. And until they sort that out, I cannot recommend playing on 888 at all. I get it, they have soft games. It's not terrible, but it's not worth starting if you're not already on the site. D rating, 888. Must improve. It's amazing, by the way, how much of a difference in terms of profit made over the year comes down to choosing and playing on the right sites in the right tournaments. And if you're looking to do that and crush modern poker, we've just released our newsletter. It's packed with strategy and tips, personal development help, motivation to help you crush poker, and it's absolutely free. And in fact, you can get the most recent edition that's just been brought out on how to beat the Brazilians, linked below. Just send us your email so we can get it to you. Tell us what you think. We're aiming to help as many people use poker to improve their life as possible in a healthy way. Next, we have iPoker. I play under Betfair, but there's a ton of different kind of sub-companies that use iPoker software, and basically everyone's playing the same game. Traffic has improved, but unfortunately it's improved with mainly South Americans and Brazilians. Game variety is getting better. It's not particularly great, but yeah, better than it was. So not the end of the world, but the increase in traffic looks better than it is because the softness of the players is going down with the increased number of Brazilians that are actually on that site, or South Americans in general. Payout speed on iPoker is really good. I can only speak for Betfair, but they pay immediately within 24 hours. It's only Pokerstars that actually pay quicker. So softness of players, as I say, is probably decreasing. Certainly decreased in the last years, but it's still soft enough to make some money. The problem is on iPoker that goes unnoticed is that the antes change within the tournaments, something that a lot of people don't notice, and they don't notice why the same players can drastically perform differently on each site. And that is usually to do with ante and tournament structures, how you actually approach and win different kinds of tournaments. iPoker on average has a low ante in its tournaments, which rewards nitty players. I always feel like there's a lot of nitty players that would get wrecked if they play in different tournament types, but I guess it's kind of protecting its population a little bit. And rakeback is pretty bad, but a lot of players aren't playing to be rakeback pros or anything on this. Overall, I'd give this a B. Whilst it's still quite far away from being able to base your whole session around just playing on this, it's good enough where you can make a bit of money, and definitely worth adding into your schedule if you feel like you can't hit or reach a certain number of tournaments. Basically fill up your screen and have good selection of tournaments as you play. So not bad, iPoker. But surprisingly, definitely could improve. Next, we've got Bodog, also known as Bodog and Ignition. I think that's right. Traffic game and variety is really good. Payout speed is really good once you get it sorted. You can cash out in Bitcoin super fast, so that's really nice. Softness of players is as many ticks as I can possibly give. It's like going back in time. They are really, really bad. There's a ton of deep run chances. It's high ante, rewards good aggressive players. Rakeback isn't particularly there. It's not about the rakeback, but it's not bad. It does give you a little bit. This overall gets an S tier. Now, unfortunately, what brings Bodog down is that it's not available in the UK or Europe. It's mainly US based, which is probably why the softness of players is through the roof. But if you can play on this site, I would base my whole poker strategy around just this site alone. Really, really good. And yeah, if more sites could become like that, poker would be in a very good place. This site alone, I think, is good enough for a ton of players to move across the other side of the world, to the US, to Canada, to Mexico, to play serious poker and take advantage of all these things. But yeah, apologies that this isn't available in Europe, but I still thought it's worth including because a lot of people don't even know how profitable these sites are or that they even exist. So it's better to have the option. Next, we have ACR, America's Cardroom or Poker King. Traffic and game variety, it's nothing particularly special, especially when that is filled with as many bots as are on ACR. Huge bot problem. 888 also has the same problem. Payout speed is also really bad. They don't tell you this, but a lot of the time you have to hit a certain number of an amount of rate before you can actually withdraw your money. That is not fair, complete bullshit. We should not stand for that as a community if we have any power at all, which it doesn't look like we do. But in my opinion, it is not fair at all to any players. You can deposit immediately and are unable to withdraw until you've reached a certain amount of rake spent. That is absolute bullshit. Rake back is also not particularly good at all, which is why this gets an overall rating of an E. In my opinion, the worst site out there, just because of how it's treated its players, how it's treated its customers, doesn't pay them. There's so many bots, it doesn't refund them. There's so many scandals going on about not refunding players that have been exploited by bots and basically retaining all the profits from that. And the softness of players obviously is not reliable because of all the bots. No rake back. Not trustworthy, don't play ACR. I did say I wasn't going to hold back. You can clearly tell this video is not sponsored. Next, we've got Winamax. Now, I was a bit reluctant to actually include this because it's only available in Europe and in South America, but the traffic and game variety is really good. High traffic, tons of people are playing. Payout speed is great, perfect. Softness of players is perfect. Rake back is not particularly bad, it's whatever. But overall, this is an S tier site, which is why I included it. If you can play on Winamax, you must. Winnings on this site in some countries in Europe are taxed, which is enough to bring this down from an S to an A. However, there's a lot of people out there that aren't paying tax on winnings, as is normal in poker, and ranking it just as a poker room, I have to put it as an S tier, definitely worth basing your session around. Some honourable mentions for some of the fallen poker sites. Sky Poker is a really low traffic site in the UK, only available for UK players. Really soft players, really fishy players. No surprise, it's based in the UK. And despite having no ante, despite having software basically from 2003, there is a bit of money to be made. So UK players, go ahead and hit that up. Bet Online is another small field site that is definitely very profitable for North American players and some of you more dodgy European players that can figure out how to play any site anywhere. And there's Party Poker, but they're just a bit irrelevant now, which is why they're at the end of the list. They don't particularly score high ratings on any of these things, so again, would avoid. So these are the profitability rankings for poker sites in 2024. And if you've got any really bad sites that have treated you poorly, comment them also, because it's time that we look after each other and try and hold some of these sites much more accountable to treating their customers better. Oof, good luck with that. Don't pay tax. Shit. FBI, open up!